What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the Odd Shopper channel, coming to you with the final edition of NFL Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks Super Bowl edition, end of the season edition. Oh my gosh, hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me on this video, goes a long way for you. That way you become a prize whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. This sucks. I know football it owns America. It is truly the sport, the American sport. If you want to get into fantasy, if you want to get into betting generally, got to know NFL. And for me, I've grown up, been tortured by the Minnesota Vikings. And every time I get to this end of the season, I have no idea what it feels like because I've never seen a Super Bowl since I've been alive. I have no idea what that lead up is, but I know betting. And I know that we're going to make some money here over at Bet365, if that's available in your state. We'll talk about them a little bit later, but going to make some money, period, here in the betting streets. I have 3 plays for you. If you have never seen me do individual single game stuff, lean, like, lock, we're going to have each one of them. Of course, I have a lock for you for the Super Bowl. Are you kidding me? But also talking you through a lean, a like. A lot of numbers have been changing throughout the last 2 weeks. Again, 2 weeks lead up. There are a lot of numbers that change and become pretty solid. And then Sunday, there is a ton of shift as the money is coming in. Look at possibly shorting a Travis Kelce. Look at shorting some of these numbers that might be publicly bet up closer to kickoff. Anywho, I'm saying that now because, well, we're about to talk like overs and some other stuff that I still think looks pretty good. But anywho, it's the 49ers. It's the Chiefs. It's going to be an unbelievable football game, more than likely. Producer Jacob, hi. For the last time this season in the NFL streets, we're going to have NBA Lindy's and, of course, MLB Lindy's coming soon. Producer Jacob, let's get to the picks. We made it. Final game of the entire season, San Francisco, Kansas City, 1.5 or 2. Those were the 2 opening numbers that you saw across the board, no matter where you were looking. And I just want to set the stage here before we get into the lean, the like, the lock, things of that nature. But we're going to begin our walk as we talk through each individual defense, mainly because you look at this from a defensive standpoint. This game carries a 47.5 total. Detroit, 52 outdoors. Vegas, we're going indoors. Kansas City, San Francisco. Both of these defenses bring more to the table than we saw in that game. And then obviously, Kansas City brought it against Baltimore. Both those defenses in an incredible spot. But 47.5 total for Kansas City, San Francisco in a dome is pretty wild. Again, mainly because I thought this would be touching around 50. Such is life. I'm not going to be making a play on the total by any means. So don't get me wrong there. Just trying to set things up. Looking at the defensive side of the ball, San Francisco, second in PFF grading. Kansas City, 7th. Although, talked about it last week, they are second in the entire NFL in points allowed, just south of 17 a game. That is a wild number from a Kansas City team that obviously has Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, obviously has that Andy Reid offensive scheme and everything there. And yet the defensive side of the ball is the major reason that this football team is playing on Sunday. As for the 49ers, we know that they're basically the offensive version of the Monstars when you talk about the skill position players between Debo, between Ayuk. We saw both of them ball out last week. We'll get there when we get to the lock portion, that is for sure. But I do think this is a spot where no matter what, you are going to see Kansas City rotating in a lot of wide receivers. You're going to see potentially Sky Moore, who is off the injury report entering Sunday, has not appeared in forever. And then you've got Marquez Valdes-Scantling, who on the outside made the play to finish off that Baltimore game. Probably felt like sweet redemption after dropping that freebie that he had earlier in the season. But I'm looking ahead, and I'm looking at the betting markets right now, and the only thing that I really am thinking about from an anytime touchdown perspective, because again, this is one of the most publicly bet games. They want action, and sometimes it can lower a little bit of the barometer come kickoff. But as of right now, there's only one anytime touchdown that I'm thinking about, and it's the wide receiver we know is going to be on the field the absolute most for Kansas City, Rashee Rice. He has now stepped into that every single down type role that we had been clamoring for the first half of the season, as he was still held below 50% of the snaps. No. Things have been changing there for him, and looking across the industry, again, there are no good anytime touchdown numbers that I'm seeing. Christian McCaffrey, let's not even get into that, but something I'm thinking about betting, the lean, is Rashee Rice anytime touchdown. So we're going to just set the table. right there from the get-go. You need to be getting massive money. And actually, my sheet just went away. We just had an amazing redoing of the entire Odd Chopper site. So take a look at that as well. Really good for night mode. Really, really good for night mode. But Rashee Rice, you better be getting some big money there on him. Nice plus money. Otherwise, just remove it from the table here as is. Again, everything else is grading out with like yellow or red for me in my sheet. That means don't bet it. Or, you know, it might be something that you could upgrade on a rainy day. But for the most part, we're not looking at that marketplace. Let's get into the marketplace we do want to jump into. I am going to take a side of this, and I've been going and debating with myself over and over and over and over like I'm Marshawn Lynch here, and I'm going to take a stand. Let me set it up here again. Let's go through this. It opens at 1.5 or 2, kind of depending on where you're looking. And I was thinking, man, if this got to 3.5, it'd be hard to say no to the Kansas City money, but it has stayed south of 3 forever. And I think this has truly made a lot of people, betting analysts or Twitter experts or cappers or whomever else you want to say, you're seeing this a lot this week. I don't have a side. I think this is perfectly efficient in my model. A lot of them don't have models, don't work for a data company like I do. Again, stochastic. We are based in the data when we're coming down to the end of it. But on Odd Chopper, the market-based approach idea is you're looking across multiple sports books and you're just finding the best number. And these numbers are possibly going to move by a half point back and forth throughout the entire weekend. But come kickoff, there's no way this gets to 3. I've kind of accepted that at this point in time, which has me very interested in backing the San Francisco side of things. Again, Eric, why does it matter so much that 1 point? Well, because your margins are very, very small when you're talking about any singular football game. You are really trying to find out of 15 games, 2 or 3 spots to be betting spreads, you know, unless you're somebody who just parlays every single one. But for the most part of what I do on this program is just find you the best bets. But I truly think this is one of the best bets available in this football game is San Francisco -2. Deebo Samuel, another 2 weeks of being able to get him healthy. You have an opportunity to get the entire offensive line here healthy for Kansas City. And we know, or not Kansas City, for San Francisco. And we know at this point in time that if you can protect Brock Purdy against this pass rush for Kansas City, you're going to have an opportunity to sling it to the best skill position players between McCaffrey, Ayuk, Deebo, and then the lock. But before we get to that portion, let's go to Bet365. Friends, if you have just found this video here out of the ether here on YouTube, welcome. Of course, hit the like button, subscribe button. But secondly, Bet365 is available in only 9 states right now. That is right. Bet365 is available in Colorado, New Jersey, Indiana, Iowa, Kentucky, Ohio, Virginia, and now Arizona. Just went live in Arizona, friends. Take advantage of this if you are going to be betting on the Super Bowl again. You go to the link below. You bet $5 and you get $150 in bonus bets to fire up for the Super Bowl. There's no strings attached to that. You also have this first bet safety net. You can wager up to $1,000 on a side or potentially a nice plus money spot because, again, that can be better for the math. But the quick and easy way to get yourself $150 in bonus bets over at Bet365 is to just bet $5 at the link below. It takes you all of like 2 minutes to sign up over at Bet365. And again, that is available to everybody living in Arizona for the first time, Colorado, New Jersey, Indiana, Iowa, Kentucky, Ohio, Virginia, and Louisiana. Welcome to having Bet365, one of the most reputable sports books in the entire world. Yes, you heard me. The whole wide world, friends. Yeah, it's only if you're 21 and over. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. To the lock we go. Kansas City, obviously, they still have a lot of talent on that side of the ball, the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, we know they're going to go as far as Pacheco, Kelsey, Rashee Rice, and Patrick Mahomes at the helm are going to take them. So again, San Francisco, that's the side of it that I've landed on. Doesn't mean that I just completely hate the Kansas City side. I think it's going to be a competitive game. In a lot of weeks, wouldn't even be worried about the -2, but every single week, I would be interested in this lock. Now, one thing I did do on the Kansas City side is I ended up betting the overs on Noah Gray earlier in the week, about a week and a half ago. Those numbers have moved from like the 10.5 receiving to like 12.5, 13.5. Some of them are off the board here as of recording this right now. I don't know why. Again, Sky Moore off the injury report. Maybe that has something to do with it, but I doubt it. Anywho, my major thing is I am looking at the San Francisco side. and how they match up against this Kansas City defense. And last week, or 2 weeks ago it would be, the Detroit secondary was so putrid, so abysmal, that we just said, well, all the Debo and all the Ayuk. That came to fruition. Big play from Ayuk, got the touchdown. I think it was just 8 targets, 3 catches. And then the Debo side, 8 for 9. Just the guy is outrageous. The guy is absolutely outrageous. But in man, and with these 2 high safety looks, 2 bad safeties at that, by far the weakest part of this Kansas City defense, George Kittle is going to smash. This is George Kittle. And as an Iowa State guy, recommending an Iowa Hawkeye, not the easiest thing in the entire world to do, but it's pretty easy when you look at how this defense is going to try to blitz and try to mix up things. Again, Kansas City doesn't blitz a lot, but they're going to have to try to generate pressure. Otherwise, Christian McCaffrey, Debo, and Ayuk are going to run mad. They're not going to have to sell out a whole lot. They have great defensive skill position players set up there. Their safeties are a problem. Legitimately a problem. Justin Reed, Mike Edwards. Those are the 2 who are going to be tasked in some capacity with having to deal with the monster that is George Kittle, a top 3 tight end. And, well, just saying, Justin Reed and Mike Edwards are both 20th or the last 20th. We're talking 75th and 85th in PFF grading out of 95 qualified safeties this season. That should tell you this coverage is going to just be problematic. And we know that Brock Purdy, he's happy to take whatever the defense gives him. Shanahan, happy to take whatever the defense gives them. And the defense here is going to give them George Kittle over the middle of this field. I see it coming. It is happening. It is by far my favorite bet of the entire week. George Kittle over 49.5 receiving yards. I would bet this up to 55.5. That is how confident I am in this. I'm looking at alt lines. There's some 70 plus, 80 plus type money I'm looking at anytime touchdowns, first touchdowns, which are upwards of plus 1,200, depending on what book you have right now. I have looked at everything for George Kittle because I am convinced, friends, this is where he smashes. Kansas City, the reason they're going to lose this football game are those 2 safeties. And if they do, enjoy George Kittle along for the ride. And that does it for the Super Bowl and final edition of Lindy's Lean Likes and Locks in the NFL streets. Hit that like button down below. If you are joining us for the first time, hit that subscribe button as well. Thank you, producer Jacob, for all season long putting in that work, Devin. Don't give up. Another one. You know the commercial. Maybe you don't. Anyway, Bet365, friends, we're going to get the heck up out of here. Thank you so much for an amazing 2023 NFL season. Let's start off 2024 here solid before we wait until September. Oh, that's so insane. Oh, we'll have baseball? I'm okay with it then. Until next time, friends, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the NFL streets for Super Bowl Sunday.